Welcome back, everyone. It's Bruce. Marvel released a new Captain America Brave New World trailer at Comic-Con with way more Red Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross. They finally confirmed which character Giancarlo Esposito is playing, and way more talk of the Celestial Tiamat and Adamantium and how they're going to explain it inside the MCU. So we'll break it all down during the new Captain America trailer at Comic-Con. The footage shows Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross at a briefing where Isaiah Bradley tries to kill him, going full Winter Soldier on him after some music plays, like a trigger conditioning that he's received, forcing him to go nuts. They haven't revealed who's responsible for conditioning him, but I have a feeling it has something to do with what the leader is doing, and also what the Serpent Society is doing. The leader from the Incredible Hulk movie, Tim Blake Nelson's coming back. He's supposed to be the actual main villain of the film. A lot of Hulk-related stuff happening in the movie, not least of all Red Hulk. But before he goes all ham on Thunderbolt Ross, he holds the briefing talking about the dead Celestial Tiamat. He refers to the emergence and the fact that it literally grew inside the Earth and clawed its way out. And this is the big canonical change from the comics. During his briefing, he confirms that part of Tiamat's body is made of raw adamantium. In the MCU, that's the closest equivalent they have to pure adamantium from the comics. Like Wolverine, for instance, has pure adamantium in his body. Most of the other adamantium that shows up around the MCU is actually a derivative of the original purest form of adamantium. So like, not everybody has that purest form. Wolverine just happens to be one of the people. But the idea in the MCU is that this pure raw form of adamantium just grew on Tiamat's body. Celestials in the MCU and in the comics can use pretty much anything, any resources around them available to them to create their bodies. So for instance, there are some Celestials that have some vibranium in their bodies, but because vibranium is so rare around the universe, that's why you don't see every single Celestial being made of 100% vibranium. Same thing with adamantium. Like their entire body isn't made of adamantium. In the trailer, Thunderbolt Ross says, "When a celestial mass emerged in the Indian Ocean, we did what we often do. We squabbled over it, countries rushed in to claim it as their own, setting up research facilities to exploit its resources. But the truth is, this new element belongs to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you adamantium. It's in a secure location, and we have our own Captain America to thank for that." And he's talking about Sam Wilson's Captain America. What he's referring to is the mission we see them on throughout the trailers, where Sam Wilson's Captain America and Taurus's Falcon in his new Falcon wingsuit. Like, you can see him in the trailer here, together flying. They're flying around the Celestial's dead body, dodging all these Japanese planes. In the movie, Captain America and Falcon recover some adamantium from one of the Japanese dig sites on Tiamat's body and return it to Thunderbolt Ross. So the big battle you see around Tiamat's body with the Japanese planes and the US ship is part of them taking some of that adamantium from the Japanese dig site. They're basically yoinking the adamantium and bringing it back to Thunderbolt Ross. You may remember William Hurt's version of Thunderbolt Ross. I mean, it's the same character they recast with Harrison Ford because William Hurt passed away recently, but a lot of the movie is referencing the Incredible Hulk movie. In the Incredible Hulk, he talks specifically to the Abomination about the Weapons Plus program and how, just like in the comics, it's an evolution of the Super Soldier program.
Banner's work was very early phase. It wasn't even weapons application.
He thought he was working on radiation resistance. I would never have told him what the project really was.
The military trying to create super soldiers in different ways through different iterations of the Weapons Plus program, like Weapon 1, Weapon 2, Weapon 3, and so on. Wolverine Weapon X is just the evolution of that eventually in a Canadian facility, so a lot of people feel like this is Kevin Feige slowly introducing the idea and the things that are necessary to have an MCU version of Wolverine rise up at some point in the future. But because Hugh Jackman is doing gangbusters in Deadpool, and Wolverine, because he kills it so hard, that movie is about to make $1 billion. They're supposedly going to be keeping him around even longer than they were originally. There's even a joke in the movie where Deadpool says that Disney is going to keep making Hugh Jackman play Wolverine until he's 99. Now, because the movie's making so much money, they probably will make him play Wolverine until he's 90. Kevin Feige said he doesn't have any plans to recast for a new Wolverine anytime soon. It doesn't mean he'll never recast. Like, eventually there will be a new version of Wolverine, but I think the idea for like a good long while, we're just going to be seeing Hugh Jackman's version of Wolverine. Later in that new Comic-Con trailer, Thunderbolt Ross talks to Sam Wilson saying, "We haven't always agreed in the past, but what you've accomplished has made me reconsider, and it's why I want you to help me rebuild the Avengers. This country needs this. "Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward." So it's Thunderbolt Ross basically asking Anthony Mackie's Captain America to form a new Avengers team with the remnants of the Avengers that are still alive after Avengers Endgame and new characters. But this is before they go at odds with each other before he turns into Red Hulk. Like, this is at the beginning of the movie. Then in another scene, we get a bunch more Red Hulk footage. So Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross is holding this briefing at the White House with a bunch of world leaders. And in the middle of the briefing, like when he's giving his speech, he just randomly turns into Red Hulk, like goes crazy. I think this is part of a long plan, like a long con that the leader is pulling off as part of a revenge plot. During the trailers, we see the leader peeping Thunderbolt Ross from afar. I think the idea is that he's gonna turn him into Red Hulk to get revenge on him, like cause him to go crazy out of control. And just like Bruce Banner was originally when he first became the Hulk, just would not be able to control himself. We'll probably get more Red Hulk footage the next time they release the next official trailer publicly. Giancarlo Esposito also made a big deal of officially revealing his character. Like, he turned to Kevin Feige on stage and was like, "I'm allowed to say who I am, right? It's okay to say now." He's playing Seth Volker, aka Sidewinder, the king of the Serpent Society.
Can I say it? I am. Can I say it? I can say it. Wow. Can finally unleash it. I am the king of the Serpent Society. I am Seth Volker, Sidewinder.
In the MCU, his character will be the creator of the Serpent Society, but because the leader is meant to be the actual main villain, he might just be trying to pull everyone's strings, using them against each other. The way that Tim Blake Nelson described the leader during the events of this movie, you have to imagine a bunch of time has gone by since the events of the Incredible Hulk movie, and he said that his leader character is trying to get what he feels is owed to him by the government and Thunderbolt Ross. So I think the idea is that he's been running experiments for him, like he's been working for him since the events of Incredible Hulk, because he had all this knowledge and gamma energy and powers that Bruce Banner was working on, and all this access to Bruce Banner's Hulk blood. So I think Thunderbolt Ross had him working for him secretly, but has been doing him dirty ever since. So the leader gets pissed off and starts trying to take what he feels is owed to him and get revenge on Thunderbolt Ross. My assumption is that Captain America just gets caught in the crossfire, like he's caught in the middle of that. So technically, even though you see him fighting Red Hulk during the trailers, Captain America versus Red Hulk, technically the leader is still the main villain. Couple big comic book connections here too. The leader character was part of the Intelligentsia in the comics. In the comics, it was the Intelligentsia that turned Thunderbolt Ross into Red Hulk. But a big part of the way they did that involved a big fight with the actual Bruce Banner version of Hulk. So it's not totally clear if Bruce Banner Hulk is going to appear during this movie. Mark Ruffalo made it sound like he wasn't in the movie, but he might have been lying. What'll probably happen, because we just got that teaser for Red Hulk at the end of this trailer, is that we'll see a much better version of him in the next big trailer, like a full-on frontal shot, full frontal Red Hulk action. When it comes to all the Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, Weapon X, Adamantium stuff, I think they're just laying the track for a new MCU version of Wolverine. Hugh Jackman is still supposed to be the main version of Wolverine through at least Secret Wars. He might stick around even a little bit longer than that. But Marvel is making their new solo X-Men movie with like new versions of the characters inside the MCU eventually. That probably won't happen until after Secret Wars, and they do a big soft reboot on the MCU just in general. Supposedly, they're not going to recast Wolverine and introduce a new MCU version until well after that. So like the new version of Wolverine will not debut in that new X-Men movie. So what they can do in this movie is just lay the track work for Weapon X to actually become a thing by introducing the concept of adamantium in the MCU. This new female character I think is meant to be his new love interest during the movie. There's a funeral scene. It's not clear who it's a funeral for because it seems like there's a lot of people there. They also brought the Betty Ross character, Liv Tyler's Betty Ross, back from Incredible Hulk, and she's at the funeral too. There's only a couple people she would probably show up to a funeral for, and one of them would be her father, President Thunderbolt Ross. Maybe they tried to play it like he's killed during the events of the movie and then brought back as Red Hulk. Generally, a lot of Hulk-based stuff is going to be in this movie, mostly from the Incredible Hulk movie. This seems like it's happening at the leader's lab like we saw earlier, but a bunch of these men, maybe they're working for the leader, try to stop him, but their gear kind of looks like military gear. So like I said, the leader might have had this secret base on the purview of Thunderbolt Ross. Like, he might have been working for Thunderbolt Ross in this place. This is a good way to show you that Captain America's vibranium shield dissipates energy. This woman that it seems like he's interrogating is meant to be a former Black Widow played by Shira Haas. I don't know what her name in the context of the movie is going to be, but she's now working for Thunderbolt Ross and has his trust as part of his inner circle, so that's probably why she's being interrogated after this attack by Isaiah Bradley. Natasha Black Widow was very critical to Steve Rogers' character in those Captain America movies. Not clear if we're going to see Yelena Belova at any point during this, because she's kind of taken over the persona of Black Widow inside the MCU. Right now, in present day, she's mostly thought of as a Thunderbolts character, like we saw her in that teaser trailer they released earlier this year. But there's so many Easter eggs and references going on during this. If there's anything you spotted in the trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments, and I'll add them in my next bonus videos. What they might do later is, because Venom: The Last Dance, like Venom 3, is coming out pretty soon, they might attach the next big Captain America trailer to that. We'll probably get an official Fantastic Four trailer sometime at the end of the year, maybe like a teaser, just because that movie is coming out in July next year, so they don't want to wait too long before they start actually teasing it. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on all things Marvel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the latest trailers, Easter eggs, and theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.